G'day everybody, welcome back to the channel. We've got a new bit of kit to test on the channel here today. Those that have been following along semi-recently on the channel would have seen that I installed a XC-ESC into my infraction build, and I was extremely impressed with the quality and how it ran, so I've decided to go ahead and get a few more bits and pieces in to try. So today we're going to be focusing on the marine ESC that this company provides. It is the WT200, and it is a 3 to 8S capable ESC with a continuous current rating of 200 amps. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and unbox it, see what's included, go over a few of the specs, and coming up in another video or so, we're going to get this tested in a few different boats. Alright, let's have a look in the box. Alrighty, we'll go ahead and get this sucker opened up and see what we get inside. So, very standard packaging to begin with. What do we got inside here? Oh, very nice. Looks like a nice little CNC'd design on the water cooling block there. Go ahead and get it out of the box. Alright. Get this out. Alright. Perfectly well packaged, that's fine. It's going to be protected in shipping, so that's always a good feature. First impressions, quite a reasonable size. It appears to be about the same size as some of the Spectrum 8S ESCs, and even perhaps like an MMX 8S ESC, Hobby Wing Max 6 style size. 10 gauge, motor wires, and looks like 10 gauge on the power wire as well. Nice long receiver wire here as well. Let's get a length on that one. Looking at a 470mm long ESC wire. Waterproof switch. That's very nice. Now, the actual unit itself has a CNC'd aluminum water cooling jacket. Nice big brass fittings for the water cooling. So you could either loop it at one end or run fresh water through both sides of this. 3 nice big capacitors on the back of it. What are they? They are 35 volt 1200 UF each. I'm sure you could install a capacitor pack onto it in line with the power wires if you wanted to, if you needed extra. But we're going to run this just like you would get it out of the box. So other than that, it seems to be sort of like a composite base material, which is fine. And we've actually got 4 screw holes. Presumably that's going to be a sort of like a Hobby Wing standard sized hole pattern on that one. So very good, very good. What else have we got in the box? Alright, bit of heat shrink. We have a bit of extra wire in here to do your Y connection, your series connection on the power connections. And we have a sensor wire. Is this censored? I don't think this is a censored ESC. Okay, I'm not sure why we've got a sensor wire in here, guys. I think this ESC is a derivative of their E6 ESC, which is the same size. So, I don't know, maybe something's going on in packaging, I'm not sure. But overall impressions, guys, really, really nice. It's not overly bulky or heavy or anything like that. Very standard. So, I'm going to do a direct comparison alongside another couple of ESCs I have on hand. Right. So this is the Spectrum Marine ESC. Now, I can't remember what this is rated for. I don't think it's 200 amps. It might be like 160 or 180. 35 volt 1000 UF capacitors. So these caps are bigger already. So you've got an extra bit of grunt in storage when you squeeze that trigger. This has 6.5 mil bullet points for your motor, whereas this has them actually wires extending direct from the ESC. So I kind of like that from a waterproofing feature on this ESC. You could put your own 8mm. I run 8mm bullets anyway, so with that in mind, that's a good thing, because with this, you're stuck with 6.5mm bullets. If you want to run 8mm, you actually need to go 6.5mm with a bit of wire and put your 8mm bullets on. So yeah, that's definitely something where you're going to have less resistance in line to your motors. That's always a good thing. Both have 10 gauge wiring. Both have similar length receiver wires. Both have, well, no, I have to say that the Spectrum ESC actually has bigger water nipples in it. So that's something to be said. However, I think that the actual water cooling jacket on the XC-ESC is a nicer design with more surface area to cool everything off. So there you go, there's that. But yeah, in terms of size, they are the same size, and that would mean it's the same size as like a Castle MMX 8S ESC. So definitely a little bit taller than the Spectrum one. So that is perhaps a consideration. But yeah, other than that, I'm going to actually, while we're at it, we'll compare it to a ZTW. Apologies about that, guys. A ZTW ESC I have here. Now, this ESC has served me well, but it is rather large. This is another 2 to 8S ESC, 200 amp rating. But as you can see, it is certainly a bit bigger than the XC-ESC. I can't see what size capacitors are on the ZTW ESC, but it has more of them, but they're of similar size. So this is going to be an interesting comparison here, where this is out of a Blackjack 42. I am actually going to install this into the boat here. I'll get a bit more into that with the testing later on in the video. But I do believe the ZTW has some form of logging, but it is not an easily, it is not an easily accessible log. So that's just another thing I'll go into shortly with this ESC. All right, just to go over a few of the features. The ESC is capable of 200 amp continuous current, 3 to 8S LiPo. The book of words here mentions censored or sensorless motors, but like, I guess you could run the censored motor in sensorless mode, but there's definitely no provision for a censored motor on that ESC. The BEC is capable of 6 volts, 7.4 volts, or even 8.4 volts. And this is all switchable through the mobile app. 8 amp continuous current with a 25 amp short-term current able to be provided. Built-in Bluetooth. All parameters can be adjusted using the app. Firmware can be upgraded using the app. And also motor operation, including logging, is all viewable through the app. Simple configurable items. We've got running mode, single or forward reverse with brake, auto LiPo cell, or 3 to 8S, so you can actually say, hey, these are the LiPos it's using. BEC voltage, cutoff voltage, completely adjustable between 2.9 and 3.6 volts. Motor rotation, punch, drag brake, timing between 4 and 24 degrees. It is saying the default is set to 15 degrees. So again, I'm going to double check this when we log into the Bluetooth app and check all that out. But if you do have a D-wind motor, you're going to want to back that right off. So I think I probably would have liked to have seen that to be able to go down to 0 degrees. But I'm sure you get away with 4 degrees on a delta wind motor. Y-wind, different story altogether. So yeah, look guys, overall very happy so far with the overall appearance, feel of the ESC. But yeah, let's take a look at the Bluetooth side of things in this. I'll go ahead and sort of fab something up to get this thing powered up, and yeah, we'll log in and check all that out. Alrighty, I've got the ESC hooked up super sketchy with some alligator clamps, but it is powered on with a 3S ESC. I've just turned it on, and we're going to click the Bluetooth button, WT200, and bang, we are connected. As easy as that. Excellent. All right, let's have a look at the firmware to begin with. No data found for... Okay, so I suppose we are up to date, being that there is nothing else available at this point in time, so we'll roll with that. Parameters. All right, running mode, unidirectional. What does that mean? I'm gonna break out the book of words here. Now, this is the first time I've looked at this, so guys, we're doing this on the fly. Well, I'm assuming unidirectional means only capable of going in one direction, and bidirectional would imply it can go in two ways, which would mean reverse. So if we click bidirectional, I don't know whether that means there's brakes and then reverse. In the manual, it says forward and reverse with brakes. So that's kind of how you would want it if you wanted to have reverse on the boat. I'm not a big fan of reverse with flex shafts anyway, so I'll be leaving mine as unidirectional. BEC, all right, up to 8.4 volts we saw there. Okay, we can configure up to 3S to 8S on the LiPo cells or have it auto. We can turn off voltage cutoff. For those that are really keen or doing speed runs or something like that, then you might disable it. But for me, I like to play it safe and sort of say 3.3, 3.2 volts. That's a good number. We can change the motor direction, so that's nice to keep the motor wires all in order. Not that it's so important on a sensorless setup, but if you want the motor wires to look nice in order, then and it's running in reverse, then you can change the motor rotation here in the parameter setup. Advanced parameters, max reverse force, all right, acceleration. Now, I assume acceleration would be like your punch. Yeah, so that's your punch. 0 to 12. I'm not sure which is higher and which is lower. I presume the higher the number, the more punch there would be, but we can test that when we've got this in the boat. Drag brake, you're probably not going to use that, I don't think. Timing. Now this, right. So factory default is 7 degrees. In the manual, it says it's 15 degrees. So I'm glad to see it's actually... Oh, no, it is 15 degrees default. I think that should be set lower from the factory. If you've got a delta wind motor and you run 15 degrees of timing in it, you could do damage. Things are definitely going to get hot. So like for me, my motors are all going to be delta wind. I'm pretty sure even the Blackjack 42 motor is a delta wind motor. So we're going to run that at 4 degrees. Keep that low. Idle zone. So that's your neutral range of throttle. Yeah, so that's fine. We can leave that as default. We don't want it to be too touchy. And then your motor poles. So, you know, usually you're running 4 or 6 pole. Now, the way this works, just so you're aware, is these are pairs. So if we select 2 here, that's 2 pairs. That's for a 4-pole motor. For a 6-pole motor, you would choose 3. That's important for the logging side of things so that you see the correct RPM on the motor. So we'll leave that at 2 poles for now. You'll know pretty quickly as well when you look at a log if it's reading some obscene RPM number or something extremely low. You know that there's something going wrong there with the parameters. So look, we made a couple little changes there, specifically the timing and the BEC voltages. So I'm going to save those settings. Save successful. There we go. And beyond that, the only other real thing to look at is the data recording side of things. So there we are. We've got a live view. Obviously, it's not doing anything, just sitting there, but we can see that it's reading 11.4 volts, 3S battery that's on storage. But yeah, that was very seamless and easy to connect to. I'm sure that the logging is going to look very similar to the other ESC that I tried with them, so it's extremely useful for dialing in things like prop size, gearing, all that sort of stuff. So very good, guys. So far, we're off to a promising start. All right, the part everyone's waiting for, testing. All right, first things first, you're not going to see testing in this video. That's going to be coming up. First boat we're going to throw this ESC in is going to be the Pro Boat Sonic Wake V2. This is a 36-inch V-hull boat. Most of us are familiar with this boat and what it's capable of. My boat is not factory, okay? It has some changes. It's all stock on the rear end with the exception of a RC Boat Bits propeller. Electronics-wise, it has a 4092 1650 kV motor, and I am running this with a Fly Color 150 amp ESC. Now, is this going to be a fair comparison? I don't think so, because like the XC-ESC has huge specification advantages over the Fly Color, but this is a really economical ESC, and I swear by them. I've had a few of them, and they've been great. So the boat runs great. It runs cold, and we're going to run it on 6S. That's all this ESC is capable of. And we will put this on 6S, but we are going to go one up and we'll run the boat on 8S to really push this setup. We'll run it on 6S, see what the logs sort of show, and then we'll put 8S in it and we will see the difference and go, well, the boat is happy doing this or it's not happy doing this, but we'll go over that more when we run this boat. We have a Blackjack 42 here. We're going to put the ESC into this boat also. Now this boat already runs 8S, already has an upgraded ESC in it, and it runs quite good. I don't really like the soft start feature on this ESC, so if that's not a problem with this XC-ESC, that's going to be instantly a advantage, but we shall see if we see any speed differences. We're going to leave everything the same between the setup. It's just going to be an ESC swap, and that's it in this boat. Unfortunately, I need to just carry out a few repairs. This all busted out recently. I don't know if I've released that video yet or not by the time you see this one, but I do need to get everything glued back in and running again. So those are going to be the first two tests. A little teaser. We're going to test in this as well. And those who know what that means. So, thanks very much for watching this far, guys. Stay tuned. Please subscribe if you're not already. I really appreciate everyone that does follow and subscribe. Just gives me that little bit of incentive to try a bit harder, get the stuff out for you guys. If you love the hobby like I do, it really means a lot to me to see a company come on board that can give us quality electronics that don't just burn an utter hole in your pocket. As of recording, these ESCs are retailing at $199 USD. They're available from XC-ESC's website directly, AliExpress. They are also available on eBay. I'm going to leave a link in the description to the eBay sellers store, the XC-ESC site, where you can see the specs and everything on this, and follow that to your heart's content. So thanks again for watching, guys, and we'll see you on the water.